And she's brought in. But
only steak and eggs from now on.
Yeah. It's like, I like I've heard pastors say, like, your kids are crying in the pews, then, like, that's great, they're here, that's all that matters. And I get it, like, that's cool, but I think especially, like, mothers get, like, self-conscious. They're like, oh, I am the single worst mother that's ever lived. As I brought my child to church this morning and had it in his best clothing, he's begun to fuss, and I am undone. So it's nice to have, like, the nursing rooms and stuff like that, like, accommodations for everybody to come.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, because we went to Jonah's church for...
I love Jonah.
For...
he's the best.
The Christmas Eve service.
Real life Nacho Libre.
And, dude, yeah, my kids were insanity, because it's at night, so like they're winding down or their blood sugar is dropping, and so we're just trying to just corral and keep them in control. And at one point Henry yells, "I don't like this church. This church is bad."
Oh dang.
Because it's a Lutheran church, and they're used to going to where the rock wall is.
Exactly.
It's a lot of like hymnals, and it was great. But it was a
the difference.
Yeah,
churches are so cool. Like the denominations, like going to like a Southern Baptist church with like a lot of the Holy Spirit going is so cool. Going to like certain like Catholic masses is so cool, and like watching them do their like the ceremony of it all, and just like the observation of it is so interesting. Or like Ethiopian Christians and how they worship, and just like there's so many different sects of Christianity and ways that people like do things, and I think it's even just a street preacher in the park, what I mean? Like each expression in its own is like so super radical.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's I mean, as for however many people are on the planet, there's that many relationships with God. So and everyone has a different relationship with even the people that they have relationships with. So like there's a lot of individuality in that. And I think that's that's one of the like most beautiful things, I think, about our Creator, is like his ability to speak into each one of our lives individually. Yeah. So I think that's really cool. Also, why I think our testimonies play such an important role in not only connecting with each other from a fellowship standpoint, but also like empowering each other and emboldening each other. Like, hey man, like, I struggle with the same addictions that you struggle with, and we're all struggling. We're all in this same, like, we're all in the same sandbox, and none of the tactics have changed in 6,000 years. Like, none of the tactics have really changed. No. It's the technology in which it's able to reach us has evolved. Because it used to be, if you want to go see naked women, you have to risk being seen in public walking into the establishment where the naked women are. Yeah. Whereas now, now it's like, well, anyone can go. Yeah. Like, anyone can go at any time.
I think it said something, and like I'm not as versed as either of you in biblical studies, but there's somebody that prophesied at one point about, like, in the future and hundreds of years from now, which is our time now, the sin will be so readily available that those who resist it then will truly be so righteous. You know what I mean? Because it's like, how hard is, like, not that it's not, but like, how hard is it to be righteous when it's just you and your wife and your 3 kids and your goats, and you're 40 miles walking distance away from anyone else? Like, you're not trying to, there's not porn at your fingertips. There's not, nicotine at the store, cigarettes or alcohol or whatever your vice is. It's but nowadays it's so readily available for anybody of any age. You don't need hardly any money, for those guys, the homeless guys you see. They're like, oh, I'm trying to get 94 cents so I can get one of those little banana shots. It's like, brother, no. That's the hard part, I think.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm pretty early on in my journey, because like I grew up in the faith. I was a Lutheran. I grew up as a Lutheran, and then my earliest childhood memory is being molested by an older boy at the Lutheran school. So then that shifted my whole trajectory of my life.
Your whole relationship with God, too, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I was angry at him for a long time, and I became, like, I went into the Marine Corps because of it. Because in my mind, it's like, well, who never gets messed with? Marines never get messed with.
Yeah.
Like, they're the coolest.
How can I never be victimized again?
Yeah. And so my uncle and my aunt, Marines are in my family, and we went and visited them out in Virginia. My uncle was a JAG officer for the Pentagon. He worked in the Pentagon.
I've seen an episode of JAG.
There you go. Yeah.
So I pretty much know.
The Judge Advocate General, basically a military lawyer.
It's an old 90s. It was a TV show, right?
Yeah.
TV show.
JAG. But, we went on a tour of, like, he took me to the base that's out there. He took me to Quantico. We went to the Naval Academy, and he was an officer, so he was trying to sell me on the whole officer route. Like, hey, you go do good in school, you go to college at the Naval Academy, blah, blah, blah. And we're going through Quantico, and I see this, like, it's all the officer candidates that are, running, and they're doing the oat course and doing all their things. And my uncle's like, yeah, see these guys like this.
And what is your guys' cool. For legal purposes, we can't say who I work for, and I can't express any specific views about my job. But for that, how does your guys' rank goes? It goes.
See, I didn't know.
Private.
Yeah. So
no, I can talk vaguely about my life experiences, but I can't talk specifically about cases and policy.
Yes.
For fear of retaliation. Shout out to Bravo.
So like the rank structure of the Marine Corps is you have the enlisted side, and then you have the officer side. Each one is like, so it goes E1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to E9, and then O1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to O9.
Enlisted
and then
officer.
Enlisted, it's private first class, lance corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, gunny, all the way up until it's like master guns or master sergeant, first sergeant, or it would be a master gunnery sergeant and then a first sergeant. And then there's like the sergeant major of the Marine Corps. So so it branches off depending on what you want to do. I never made it that high. I only did one enlistment, so I don't know.
1 4-year.
Yeah. 1 4-year enlistment. And
would you end up at an E?
I was a sergeant, so I made it to E5.
E5.
Yeah.
So I've heard that a lot. I've heard people talk about E5 Mafia.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Kind of the first line of management, kind of sergeant, right?
Yeah. In the Marine Corps, it's different.
Management.
Yeah, the Marine Corps is different from all the other branches because all the other branches, when you get to Sergeant E5, you're still kind of considered like a lower enlisted guy.
Yes.
You aren't given the same responsibility. In the Marine Corps, you make it to corporal, and if you're a corporal, like with where I was an air winger also. So like where I was at, like I was in charge of a shop. Like I made it to be in charge of 8 other Marines and like $20 million in equipment. So they really rely on you.
But they don't let you plug your toasters in your barracks.
Yes. But you can't have a little burning thing in your,
like a little hot pot or nothing.
Yeah,
no
nothing.
heating elements.
Yeah, even a coffee pot, like you can't have a coffee. This whatever. Anyways, so we're touring Quantico. I see him. He's trying to point me in this direction, but I see these guys that are yelling at the officer candidates, and I'm like, "Hey, who are those guys?" And he's like, "Oh, those are the enlisted instructors."
The drill instructors.
Yeah. Which the officer candidates are actually taught by enlisted Marines. Okay. So me in my 12-year-old brain is like, oh, well then why would I want to be the guy getting yelled at? I want to be the guy doing the yelling. Yeah. And then we go a little further in, and there's these other dudes running in the big ghillie suits, the big Chewbacca suits, and they're running, and I ask him, like, who are these guys? And he's like, oh, those are the scout snipers. And I'm like, oh, those are cool. Well, do officers do that? And he's like, no, that's enlisted. I'm like, why would I want to be A, the guy getting yelled at, and B, the guy that can't do the cool stuff?
The coolest stuff, yeah.
So at 14, I called the recruiter, I called up the local recruiter and was like, hey, I want to join the Marine Corps. And he's like, all right. Sweet. Like, how? He's like, when do you graduate? I said, I don't know. And he goes, how old are you? I said, I'm 14. Bro, he goes, kid, call me back. Like, call me back later. Okay.
Give me a couple of years.
Yeah. So then I go to when I get into high school, there's like this, I think every high school has it, but it's like this, there's like a career center where they have like all these like little handouts of like all the different things that you could do. And one of them was the 3x5 card with the enlist today. It's got the Marine Corps emblem on it, and you fill it out, you mail it in, and then a recruiter contacts you. They send you a packet with like stickers and all sorts of shit. So from 15, 16, and 17, I would fill that card out every year, and I would send it in, and I would get stickers, and the recruiter would call, and he would ask me the same question: when do you graduate?
Were you doing like JROTC stuff, or trying to
No,
do any of that?
nope,
They didn't have that.
nothing. I just wanted to join the Marine Corps.
That was 18. I'm gone.
Yeah, because that's again going back to that. Those guys never get messed with. Like, and then I also grew up. Black Hawk Down was the cool movie.
Yeah, I remember.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I think it was Ridley Scott.
Yeah, that was a great movie for its time. It was good,
dude. Orlando Bloom.
Got my safety right here.
Yeah, dude. The Banner.
We're calling the cast and crew. I think I've seen it like twice when it was popping.
Bro, you should.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's in there.
You should watch it. Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
Nice. What's his face?
From Achilles or from Troy.
What's his face? Lannister is in it.
Oh yeah, Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, Jaime Lannister's in it.
Which one? Hector. Oh yeah. God damn, I don't remember.
Even Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's in that too.
Yeah.
It's, dude, looking back now, it's like a ton of dudes came out of that movie. Anyways, so like when I finally was able to join, my parents had to sign the contract. Like they had to be there. I was 17, so they had to allow me to sign my contract. And I had watched Black Hawk Down religious, like probably 20 or 30 times. And there was this job called Crash Fire Rescue.
Okay.
And I was like, bro.
Oh, that's like, you're doing recon.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
I thought, dude, these are the guys.
That saved
any bird. Yeah, any bird goes down anywhere in the world.
I'm gonna say
we are the ones that go in and we get those pilots extracted. We get them out, not knowing anything about anything. Not knowing that the PJs existed and special forces and all these other things that actually do that stuff.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, that's what I thought I signed up to do. So I'm telling everybody.
You were gonna do like SEAL recon.
Yeah. I was telling all my friends, like, bro, I'm gonna be rescuing pilots, like, and they're like, yeah, okay, dude. And
sure, brother.
Yeah, sounds good. Like, oh, cool, man, because we don't know anything.
Yeah.
And then turns out, no, that's not at all what it is. And like the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps. So it's called, they call them blocks. So you sign up for a block. So in a block, an MOS block, military occupational specialty block, there's like 5 jobs. And so I signed up for the block of 6,500, which is aviation support. So inside of aviation support, there's actually 5 different jobs.
Yeah.
There's crash fire rescue. Whew, that's the one that grabs everybody. Yeah. There's avionics, which is like electrical stuff on a bird.
Yeah.
Power plants, which is like the engines on helicopters and stuff.
Motor repairs,
yeah. And then ordnance, which everyone's like, I don't even know what ordnance is. Like, I don't get that.
That's like positioning stuff?
Bombs.
Yeah.
It's explosives.
Out, like where you're at.
No, it's like, it's actual explosives. Like, like
you build the bombs?
You don't build, you assemble the bombs. So that's what I ended up with. But you don't find out until you graduate boot camp, then you go to MCT, which is Marine Combat Training, and you find out after you graduate MCT what actual job you get. And so after they got you, basically, they're like, hey, by the way, you're aviation ordnance. Basically, my whole military career comes down to something I learned when I was like 8 years old, which is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So like, that was my whole 4 years. The whole following 4 years after that was torquing warheads onto motors and repairing bomb racks. I worked in a shop that repaired like bomb racks and missile launchers.
Okay.
And that was
Did you ever get to yell at anybody like you wanted? That's the initial.
Yeah, I
initial
mean,
drive. There was not to be victimized, and then to be able to yell at people.
Yeah,
what I heard.
Yeah.
From the story. Did your dreams come to fruition?
So it's funny.
Did you get to scream at any officers?
No, I never got to yell at any officers. I did get to yell at some PFCs. But then my leadership style, the leadership style I adopted was actually not any yelling. Like I was a very like, hey, I'm here for you guys. My guys usually would get off around like 1600, like 4 p.m. Mm-hmm. And especially on Fridays, if there was extra work to do, like I would stay and finish the extra work while they took off. And that's just that's the leadership style that I learned that I liked being under.
Yeah.
And so when I got to a leadership position, it was like, well, I'm going to do what I like, the way I like to be led. And so that's what I ended up with. And it turns out that doesn't go very far with the leadership. The next rung of the ladder above me was not, because they would walk into my shop and I'd be there by myself scrubbing gear, and they'd be like, where the fuck are all your Marines? It's like, oh, I sent them home.
Yeah.
Like,
doing spot checks.
Yeah, they weren't happy about that, so whatever. But what can you do? Just
you gotta
get the fuck out.
That you lead, you gotta know your strengths, and
yeah,
you can't be. That's the worst thing, I think, in anything that you do, where there's somebody, whether it's just your job, you're working wherever, any sort of boss that's like screaming at you in a fake way.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can tell you're not that guy.
Yeah.
You're not that guy. Don't be that guy. Just come to me and talk to me. If you need me, if I'm messing up, come to me and talk to me, but don't try to put on the false. If you're really that guy that's like, hey, motherfucker, you can tell. You can tell those guys. They exist. They're out there and they're respectable, and they're able to do that because they've earned it, you know what I mean, kind of thing generally. But when people haven't earned it and they're just trying to be like, yep, guess what? I just got my badge today, or I got my enlistment papers today, and you can't talk to me like that. I'm a Marine, It's like, all right, buddy. Well, you got to go through all the hard stuff before you're really in there, Just signing up isn't, Got to make it through basic there.
Oh yeah.
BOB. What about you, Nikki? When was the first time that the Lord spoke to you? You remember?
Maybe not ultra specifically, but definitely very young. I remember going to like a Bible church camp thing, probably in like the 5th grade area, and just having an experience of like God and the Holy Spirit that was ultimately just powerful and transformative and stuff. I don't really remember a lot of the details around it, but a sense that that's what it was, and like, it stopped being something that I was like, oh, other people or like, my parents or whatever are into this, and this is just like a thing versus like this is a real thing. But then very quickly, back to school and back to like normal life and being cool or whatever that means, know. And then I would say around the time I was like 17, kind of going into the end of high school, just didn't really want to be a part of my church and didn't want to have anyone, even if it was God, like tell me what I could do and couldn't do.
You're a typical young American man.
Yeah, and then spent like a good 10 years, as the Lord of my own life, making every mistake that you could possibly make. Yeah. And then just getting to the point where God wasn't going to let me go and was then there for me in a way that was just like, okay, this was just as real as it ever was. Didn't matter what I did.
He was there the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even when you weren't talking to him.
Yeah, and I, like sporadically I'd pray and read my Bible and stuff, but I just, at no point really in that age gap was I like ready to make a commitment that I wanted to be obedient to God. And then eventually that just kind of clicked for me.
No.
Everything's been pretty awesome since. So.
Yeah. My first introduction back to my faith was a gunny that I had. Because all my other staff NCOs and sergeants were on like their second enlistment, third marriage. Mm-hmm. And there was one guy
I remember you telling me about this guy.
Yeah. Gunny Cardona. And he was Luke Cardona. And he was the only dude that still married to the same woman, was a gunny, and didn't do, like, if we were having a get-together, 90% of us would show up drunk and then get more drunk.
As Marines do.
Yeah. But he would show up sober. He would hang out for maybe 5-10 minutes, enough to like kind of make the rounds, and then he'd be gone. He would, all right, I'm gonna go. My son has a taekwondo tournament or whatever, like, and he would leave. And it wasn't until later, after I had gotten out, that it was like, man, there's something very different about that guy.
Yeah.
And that kind of like reignited like my desire to seek that again, where it's like
have a relationship with God,
or even at the time I didn't even know. At the time I didn't know what it was. It was just like, I want what that guy has, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Did it seem like he had like a type of peace about him?
Oh yeah, big time. Like he was.
It's attractive, huh? And like that's a weird word to use, but like it's magnetism. People that really are walking with the Lord and they walk the walk and they talk the talk. Like it's powerful, man.
Absolutely.
One of my partners, Annabelle Avila, we call him Blue. My boy Blue. Shout out. And he said the same thing the other night. I was like, what are your big New Year's plans, man? He's like, I'm going to go over to my cousin's houses, and they're all going to be drinking and partying, and they're going to hate me because I'm going to try to preach the word a little bit, and then I'll probably take out, And I was like, do the good work, Blue, And I said a little prayer for him. I was like, man, I hope he reaches some of his family, because it's important to him, I know it's important for him to be there. And he's been through some crazy stuff. He's one of those guys that when you are in his presence, you like feel it. Like he'll see you like, hey buddy, and you're like, oh dude, it's good to see you, brother. That's how I feel about you guys. I always feel the good vibes when I'm in the presence of people that I feel like are on the right path, or at least seeking. There's a genuineness to them that it's palpable. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think again, like just going back to testimony. Like I think the power, the ability for our testimonies to disarm the evil that's in our own lives, or in other people's lives.
Well, that's what I love about Pastor Matt Heverly at Edgewater, is that he's the first pastor that I've ever gone to service of that in no way has ever been like. And he talked about that today in the service. He's like, my big mistake was, he's like 10 years ago, I used to be like, oh, I wanted everyone to think, man, you're so smart and I like you. Mm-hmm. And he was like, and I don't care about that anymore. And he's willing to admit his faults, or he'll tell a story about his own life and he'll be like, and then after I realized that, I was the perfect husband and my wife and I never fought again and we just had a perfect life. And he's like, nah, he's self-deprecating in a way, and that makes it very relatable, because I think when people come at you from like this hierarchical position, it's like it's like jiu-jitsu or yoga. It's one of those things where, or if I'm setting you up on a date, you're a lady, and I'm setting you up, this guy's so tall, and he's a doctor, and he's so charming, and he's so smart. By the time you actually go on the date with him, you've heard all this stuff about how great he is from on high, that you're like, I'm already sick of this guy. Yeah. Letting the jiu-jitsu or the yoga or the whatever speak for itself by experiencing it firsthand is like where the real power is. And that's the same thing with guys like that. When they walk the walk and they talk the talk, you can just feel it. They don't need to tell you like, I'm so great, I have all my stuff together, I should be your hero. It should go, God, Jesus, me. And it's like, maybe, but maybe not too. And it's, what I mean? Some of those guys, that's kind of the vibe that you get from, people that are less self-aware. And I think we're really lucky to have a pastor that's pretty self-aware of his human flaws and is relatable in that testemony, and admits his mistakes and his flaws and expresses struggles on how to grow through those things and things that you've struggled with. Because everyone's journey, like you said, is so different. And you might tell your whole story, and there's one little thing that you like glean off your story. Like, whoa, wait, that was like my story. Mm-hmm. And you start to draw those parallels, and you start to draw yourself into that. You're projecting yourself onto them in a way and being like, oh, like this could be me. Like if they could do it, I could do it. I can see myself in them a little bit. Now I can see myself pursuing and accomplishing the things that they've done. Like having a jiu-jitsu coach that's relatable, as opposed to the guy that's like, hey, listen, you guys, 35 jumping jacks, 100 push-ups. It's like, all right, man.
Yeah.
I tied my belt wrong. I get it.
Yeah.
Luckily, we don't have to struggle with any of that. For people that don't know, Nikki and David and I know each other from training. We're in the podcast studio for Pacific Skull Sessions at 10th Planet Grants Pass right now. We've all met each other.
Couple of big perks.
Oh, yeah.
Just big guys. Just big.
Three
just
perks.
big guys.
Just 3 big guys.
Just 3 guys that are like above mid at jiu-jitsu. So you better watch out. If you ever find yourself on top of me, you might get buggied. So you just check yourself.
They say a purple belt is basically a black belt, and then they say some other stuff, but that part is
yeah. Well, that's what they say, right? A purple belt is a black belt that just hasn't put in the time. Or that's like what Joe Rogan, I think, has famously said, or made allusions to. But
I just heard the black belt part, so
you know, one of the things I think I heard a long time ago.
Basically, the professor around here.
Well, I mean, that is kind of when you get like, you know, at pretty much all gyms I've been to, like once you're a purple belt, like people start letting you like, you know, coach like, hey, I can't make it to class today. You were here Monday, Tuesday. Show what I showed. You know,
yeah.
I mean, I had my kid's got a root canal or something, you know, whatever the hell the thing is. Like that's kind of where you start getting trusted with the keys, and you're like, hey, listen, the things I taught you yesterday, now you teach today. And it's, I mean, shoot, the parallels there between Christianity and jiu-jitsu in that way are like, you know, it's the same thing with the coach as a pastor. It's like, hey, like you can say all the great things in the world, but if you never compete, you never go put it on the line, you never go, you know, it's like how much can I really submit to you as an authority to teach me if I don't really know you? I haven't seen you do the thing. I haven't seen you walk the walk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something I've been thinking about as I study the Bible lately is, you know, what Jesus did was he made disciples. So I don't think we're supposed to be trying to like save people and get them into church and all right, and, you know, your relationship's better, you're not addicted anymore, etc. Those are really good things. But you're supposed to be a disciple that's making disciples. So you're supposed to be really deeply connecting with people so that they have a relationship with Christ, so that they can go tell people about Christ. It's hard to exactly put it into words, but like my relationship with my pastor is he's trying to make me a disciple. He's not trying to make me like an excellent member of a congregation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's trying to steadfast your belief in the sacrifice of Christ on the cross for your sins, as opposed to trying to make sure that you like stop gambling or like doing too many scratchers or whatever your vices are,
like
your obvious shortcomings. He's not trying to life coach you.
Yeah, well, and like with the jiu-jitsu connection, like, you know, if all Andrew was trying to do was make you a great student of him, you would be missing like the whole thing. Like the point of it is that you can do it on your own, that you can teach other people. Mm-hmm. And it's nice because in both those cases with Andrew and with my pastor, there is like an almost equality by the nature of what it is. It's not like I'm always going to show you exactly how to do it. It's more like, yeah, I just figured this out and I'm going to help you figure it out. And pretty soon we'll be figuring this out together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that analogy.
I like that too.
I think a big thing with, I mean, obviously the significance of, you know, the teachings of Christ versus grappling is there's a big discrepancy there, but the same way that you build a good congregation to just people that are, you know, true believers and that are there to help you on your mission as a pastor of a church, the same way you build a gym, you know, the people that are, you see the fire in them, you see the wantedness to learn and to grow and to accept that they don't know everything too, because like you said, you know, the Bible doesn't say, you know, once you know every single passage in the Bible, then you can start getting testimony. Like even if you're just starting, even if you've been in the faith for a month and you talk about your journey so far, that's helpful to people. It's the same thing. You're drawing allusions to similar circumstanced people, because if you're just talking about your journey once it's perfect and you're like, yeah, you know, I mow my grass every Sunday and my wife always has an apple pie baked. It's like, okay, well, I live in a cardboard box on, you know, I live in a trash can on Sesame Street, so I can't relate. Like, I don't know which, you know, I see none of me in you. And telling people about your faults is hard, because then you're open to scrutiny and you're open to criticization, and people, Matt talked about that today. He's like, people will come at you and be like, oh, you know, the belt of truth, right? The belt of truth is that everything that you're worried about is nothing to be worried about. Like if you're repented and you're not actively seeking like sin, you know, like you're good to go. It's not what you did, all the terrible things you did yesterday. It's like, and it's not all the things that you're going to try to do in the future, like how many people you get to quit smoking or quit drinking or come to church. Like, it's all beyond that. It's beyond your, and that's where faction off too. But
well, Jesus said he came to find the lost and heal the sick.
Yeah, you can't do enough works. You can't work your way into heaven. No, you can't do. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
Well, if you could, you wouldn't need Jesus.
Yeah,
that's kind of the point. My dad always says, it's the goodness of God that draws men to redemption. But the other one we were talking about just the other night was, he was like, it's your pride that's surprised when you fall and you sin, because God's not surprised by it. That's why he made a way for this stuff. That's why he sent his son to us.
Yeah.
So it's your pride that's surprised that you still struggle with things or that you fall short. And I think it's super important to talk to, especially fellow believers, but non-believers too. Like, for myself personally, I feel like the message should always be like, I was broken just like you, and I still am. That's why I need Jesus every day. That's why when I wake up, the first thing I try and do is pray and study and get in touch with that, because I need Christ every day. I didn't just get saved and like now I'm solid. Yeah. Like, this is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life, is trying to get close to Christ, because I'm ultimately dependent on him. And I think that really just does need to be conveyed, because like you're saying with the differential, like if you're coming at a person who doesn't believe in Christ and you're like, you need this so bad, I really just try to think of it as like, and communicate it as, no, I continually need this all the time, and that's why I want to tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you've lived in it with any consistency, even if you falter and go back and forth, like, you'll see over time that your patterns improve and that your life improves. Like your life just will improve. Like it does. It's a self-perpetuating mechanism. You know what I mean? Like walking daily and like reading the word daily. But the barrier to entry, it's like that. The creation of Adam, is that it? The Da Vinci, you'd know this, Mr. Artist, where God has a fully outstretched finger, but Adam's finger is lifted because it's always on man to make that final connection. God's always there, but we have to put in that minimal effort to reach back, and that was my problem forever, was it's so hard to submit to like someone you don't know. Like if you had a brand new boss come into work tomorrow and they're like, hey, they could absolutely know what they're talking about, but if you don't know them, it's hard to just be like, okay, yeah, whatever you say now, all of a sudden. Yeah. But it's up to you to know him. Like you have to seek the relationship. It's about a personal relationship. Like you have to talk to him every day, and as much as you can, try to, and read the word. That's what was given to us to interpret what he wanted for us was the word, and it's really hard to submit to somebody that you don't know. Like if some random purple belt came in from another gym,
I'm not gonna want to tap, man.
If David taps me, like I'm like, damn it, David got me. That sucks. But if some random guy comes into our gym, I don't know him. It's so hard to submit to him. You know, it's like I can't let this guy rule me and control me. But the more you get to know it, you're like, damn, it's okay. It's all right. Like I can let go a little bit.
Yeah.
I can let go and try not to have to make everything Kellen's will or Nikki's will or David's will, which is hard, is because especially as men too, we want to. Oh yeah. I want to fix it. I want to control it. I want to solve the problems. I want to save people. I want to take care of people. I want to be the one that's there doing the thing. And
going behind enemy lines to save those pilots.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you have to have a king above your inner king, like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because eventually, at least what I learned is, it is just terrible to try to be in charge of everything and make things go according to your will. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 38 special. Hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're gonna lose control.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think one of the things about jiu-jitsu that's funny is that you see people's lives kind of trend together. Like they'll be like, oh, Nate's doing keto. It's like, damn, he's got an 8-pack right now. And then all of a sudden, now Noah's doing keto, or Nick's doing, you know what I mean? Like little trends like that.
I've never done keto in my life.
But I think it's been fun to see, at least for me, like having steadfast relationships that are here, but they're also like, I'll see Nikki and we'll talk about the Lord. I'll see David and I'll talk about the Lord. You were there when I got baptized. That was beautiful. I cried like a baby.
I did too.
I know. It was good. It's good stuff. But like, I like that it seems to perpetuate. You can't show up to jiu-jitsu all the time and stay the same. It will change you. Yeah. It'll make you realize like things. It'll make you think about things in a different way. It just improves your life by the nature of. There's no way you show up consistently over time and you don't get better. It's impossible. There's no way you show up and try and don't get better. And so I think it's the same thing with the relationship with God. Your relationship's going to get stronger if you show up and try.
Yeah.
And I mean, that doesn't mean, like you said, that, I'm going to be perfect tomorrow, or that I'll never pound a natty ice again. But it is what it is. Are you on a timer, Nikki?
No, that's an hourly click.
Oh, okay. But that's the fun part of it too, is that it's not, if you could get it all done, if I could get rid of all my sin tomorrow, like, what is the journey of life? You struggle against yourself and your environment and your situation, and to provide better lives for your children. Like, it's hard to realize it when you're in the thick of it, but imagine if you just never had a bad day in your whole life, how boring your story would be.
Yeah.
Like, you never had any adversity to overcome or any strife. Like, you've seen those guys, like the Oxford tie, like, button up, like, oh, mother says I'm quite a linguist. Like, it's never, that's not, I don't know. Looking back on it now, there's times in my life when I was like, I just wish I would fucking die. And now on the other side of it, it's like, dang, I am so glad I didn't die. And like, pretty baller I made it through, honestly. If I don't, good job not killing yourself. But easier said than done, especially for men that have been, in male-based industries, not to get on the man train, but it's like, you work in like a male-based industry and fabrication and production and, Marines and woodworking and, and corrections and freaking martial arts, all of us, that those kind of environments lend themselves to like a lot of false bravado and a lot of I know it all. And I've seen that in a lot of people, like coaches too, especially. Like, I don't need God. I don't need anybody. I am God. This dojo is my heaven. This is, it's like, okay, this is a weird place, especially with like less provable martial arts. It's a lot easier to do, like kung fu. Like, listen, I would fight you, but I don't want to kill you. You're my student.
Yeah.
I would go to jail.
Yeah. I mean, Steven Seagal is a great example of that.
Yeah, dude.
Just how the ego can get out of control to the point where you convince yourself that I'll never do this move, because if I do, it'll probably go through you and the next 10 people behind you.
What's the Quentin Tarantino movie, The Hollywood?
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when Bruce Lee's like, see, I would fight you, but my hands are lethal weapons, so if I killed you, I'd go to jail. He's like, yeah, anybody kills anybody, they go to jail. Just like, fuck, that's such a good, because when I was a kid, I remember there was I was a fairly athletic kid. I'd done some karate and some boxing and stuff here and there, but I remember there was kids that were like super into karate. They were like black belts, and they're like, bro, like, it wouldn't even be fair. Like, I would be scared for what I do to them. And part of me, because you're a kid, you're ignorant, You're like, just like when the Marine recruiter talking to you, you're like, wow. You're like, that's crazy. You can kill a guy with one hand. Wow, holy heck, that's impressive, sir. I wouldn't want to fight you. And then you grow up later and you realize, like, oh, they didn't know anything. Not nothing, but damn, it's not good. It's not good.
Going back to like the group of people and all that, it's basically the most important thing is who you're going to spend a bunch of time around. And I feel like our gym is pretty much the best group of people that I could find access to, like for almost anything. And lately I've been prioritizing, like, when I look at what's important and what I want to do better with, it's spiritual health and psychological health and physical health. Mm-hmm. And kind of getting away from being focused on, like financial, material, or even really like relational goals. Just not prioritizing those things so that I can prioritize like that pyramid, if you will, of spiritual, psychological, and physical. And being around our gym, you're going to run into people that are doing well on at least 2 of the 3 all the time, sometimes 3 of the 3. But everybody's doing spiritual, psychological, and physical health. Okay. And basically, I think jiu-jitsu addresses 2 of them extremely directly. And the third one, we're not like a Christian organization or whatever. But there is we're getting there.
Last time I saw Eddie on Rogan, he was like Christ is King.
We're getting there.
If Eddie's saying it, I mean, we don't express the official views of 10th Planet Grants Pass whatsoever. But, you know, I mean.
But yeah, I mean, because it's so, like, you know, so easy in life to spend time around people that aren't prioritizing any of that. And then it's great to be around them and help and role model a little bit. But eventually it'll affect you. So to me, that's the most valuable part of the gym by far, is just being around a lot of great people who, at least in my opinion, have their priorities really sorted out in terms of what's important. You know, because we could be spending all that time on, like, you know, I'm going to fix my car and, like, make more money on the stock market, or, you know, just do stuff that to me is not that important. Because to me, like, what I would want in my life would be to have good health spiritually and psychologically and physically. And then all the other things are just not that important, because, like, lately I enjoy myself at work. I enjoy myself doing chores. I kind of just have a good time because I feel like I'm moderately healthy on those levels. Whereas, like, I have a good buddy right now that, like, he goes on a vacation, he's had a terrible time because his physical health isn't great and his psychological health isn't great and his spiritual walk is difficult right now. So, you know, he can be out in Hawaii spending a bunch of money in a really nice situation. Pretty much from the outside, you would be like, that is exactly what you would want. But it's very easy to have a bad time in that situation if you're not healthy on the spiritual, psychological, and physical. Yeah.
I think we're able, a lot of people, speaking for myself, like, I'm able to navigate that because I've experienced the wrong, like, holding those wrong priorities. And so I think all of us, we chase after, we go after what we think we should prioritize that's going to bring us happiness or peace or joy, only to get to a point where it's like, well, wait a minute, I was told this was going to be the pinnacle, and now I'm here and I'm not feeling any of that. So, like, for me, because I'm an artist by trade, and I started doing art in the military. Didn't think I was ever going to do it professionally because it was not something that was, like, seen as a viable option for a kid. Yeah. And so, like, when I started working, I got a job before I even graduated college. I got a job for a theming company where we would do themed environments, and we got to do work for Legoland and Universal Studios.
Oh, wow.
And there was a team of us. There was, like, 3 of us that got sent down to help with the Star Wars park at Disneyland, which is like, dude, I love Star Wars. Yeah. I was a huge Star Wars nerd. Disneyland is, like, the pinnacle of that world. Like, to work the most, well, not even.
You'll get the most eyes on your art.
You get the most visitors to your work, and it's, like, the pinnacle. And I remember working on this project, and they give you, so there's 4 artists, there's 4 colors, each artist has 1 color. You have 3 project directors or art directors walking with you. You're following them around, and they would say gray, like, you don't have a name. It's gray, tan, red. I don't remember what the other color was, but it's like this area here. And so if I was gray, I would take my gray paint, my little rag, and I'd dab it and, like, look at them. Is it? And they'd say, okay, good. And then they would say, all right, tan, like, over here. So it's like, and that was working for Disney.
Yeah. That sucks.
That was the worst. It was the worst.
You made it.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, cool. Sign me up for none of this ever again. And so that was another kind of going back to following what I thought was going to bring me happiness. This, like, you've done it. And just being so disappointed in the results of it. Because my journey back to my relationship with God went through all of those things that I tried to replace God with. And it was constant. It was literally constant. It was like, well, maybe if I write my own story, maybe if I acted, I'll do. And then I did that. And then it's like, it just wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't. So I think when
You said maybe if you acted?
Yeah,
you
like I did. I
didn't know.
Hold on.
Who are you?
So like, it's art school acting, so it doesn't count. Okay.
All right.
It's all student films. But
I was in some repertoire productions.
There you go. Wait, I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay.
Did you have all your clothes on?
Yeah. Okay, I was a child, so I wasn't on Epstein Island or anything.
But like, there's these things that you try to fill it with, and even like when I was doing the student films at school, people, everyone at school watches those. Like, so then you're a pretty cool guy at school.
Yeah.
And even that, it's thinking like, oh, everyone will love me, everyone will like me, and that'll fulfill me. And it's like, dude, no, because then you just get a bunch of fake people that want shit from you. Or even worse, I would start acting the way that I thought they pictured me. Like, they envisioned me as this character that I portrayed. And so then I have to be that character in order to fulfill whatever their idea of me is. Again, not fulfilling.
No, and it never is. I mean, anytime you put happiness outside of yourself, then it will stay outside of yourself.
Yeah, well, even I kept putting it into the wrong things and thinking that I was going to get this return on investment that wasn't ever, it was never in the cart. It was never there, because that's not where true joy and peace comes from. Yeah. And so, it was many, many years of winding through, like, trying everything to avoid. It's like the doctor comes in and says, hey, if you take this pill, like, your cancer goes away. And you're like, all right, cool. But what if how about I don't take that pill? And how about I just go bang a bunch of ladies? Does that work? And he's like,
you also have AIDS.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. You can try, but it doesn't work. Yeah. Okay, and then you go back. Hey, man, that didn't work. Do you have anything else for me? Yeah, if you take this pill. And you're like, no. I got this. Yeah. So that was my relationship for the longest time. It was a constant, and my mom and my family would constantly remind me of hey, my mom would ask me like, hey, how's your walk? How's your walk with God going? Or have you read your Bible? She'd constantly give me the prescription, and I would continue to deny it or try to find something else, or
I'm gonna outsmart.
Yeah.
God.
And I think part of that rebellion is we look at our parents. For me, I looked at my parents as like, for the longest time, I didn't understand. Like, my dad is the one who inspired me to be an artist. And he did it in such a like casual way, where one day we're sitting down, and it was we were standing at the kitchen counter, and my dad was just like doodling. He was like doodling. And he drew this like race car. They used to call them funny cars, with a big front tire and a tiny, or a big back tire, tiny front tire. Yeah. And a big old engine. Like they're really long. Well, they're really long triangular like cars. And he drew this thing, and it was so freaking cool. And I was just like, wow. And he did it in like 5 seconds. Yeah. And it was one of those like, you can draw like that? And my dad like, yeah, it's easy. Like, he's really good at drawing. But the very next sentence was but you can't no one makes a living doing this, except unless like you have someone that you're related to that already does it.
Who you know, not what you know.
Yeah. And so that was
Inspired
one of those.
And killed a dream in 2 sentences.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like immediately. But one of the positive takeaways from the military is that it taught me to be self-motivated, self-driven. Like I problem solve on my own. Like I don't need someone to tell me what the problem is. I can identify the problem and immediately start looking for solutions. Mm-hmm. And that's how I treated my art career. It's like when I was working at Disney, what's the problem? Why do I not like this? I love painting. Why do I not love this? I love sculpting. Why do I not love this?
Yeah.
And then self-identifying those problems, and then within about 8 months, I quit.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I love painting. I love sculpting. I don't love this kind of painting or sculpting.
It was like soulless kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from there, it's like God has guided me in a way to where I always have clients, and I don't know how, because I don't advertise. I don't, like, my Instagram, I updated it for like 8 months and then was like, yeah, I'm over this. And now it's like maybe twice a year I'll put something on there.
Yeah.
But none of my clients have come from any of my social media. It's all word of mouth. Yeah. And it's all miracles. Like I met a client because I went to a car show to draw cars. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to draw the cars because they're really nice cars, and I'll never own a really nice car. So I like to draw really nice old cars. Your Tundra
is a very sick car, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is.
That's like as good as it gets.
Absolutely, but it's not a 1954 Chevy Bel Air.
That's true.
That's teal. Like, so.
Yeah.
Like, so I would go to the car shows to draw these cars that I imagine, someday maybe I'll have one. Yeah. That'd be really cool. But for now I can't, so I draw them. And I'm just sitting down drawing this car, and this dude comes up and he's like, hey, can you do custom drawings? Like, yeah, I can. And he puts me in touch with a dude who's building a custom charger. And so now, like, all from a random moment outside doing what God made me to do, which is, for me, God made me, the guy that sticks out to me in the Bible as the guy that I relate to the most is the dude that they say was filled with the first man that was filled with the Spirit of God, which is the guy that built the temple. He was a woodworker. He was a ironsmith. He worked with cloth, like everything. He did everything. He had an understanding of all of it, and I can't remember his name right now. But he was the guy that built the temple, and that's the dude that, like, I relate to the most, because it's like, man, God made me to make stuff, just to make cool stuff. And so
since the Creator created you in His image, and you want to create a little bit.
I think it's just one of those beautiful things where it's like, it's, as long as, when David didn't go to war, mm-hmm. they're talking about, it was the time of the year when kings went to war, mm-hmm. and David didn't go. So he was supposed to be doing what he was made to do, which is go to war. And he didn't. And what happens? He sees a hot lady taking a bath on a roof, kills a guy, does all the things, right? And so when I do what I know God created me to do, which is just to make cool stuff, it's like God just puts things into my life, people into my life that are like, hey, I like what you do. Can you make this thing?
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. Can you make this thing? And it's so, because I would try to force it for so long, where it's like, no, I have to have a presence online in order to get clients, in order to get money, and God would show me, like, yeah, go ahead, man, bang your head against the wall as much as you want. You're not going to get any new anything.
I think that's one of those things. If you're trying to do something and force it super hard, and you're not just doing it because it makes you happy. Like, the first 10 episodes I did of this were all, like, I loved them. Like, it was, like, my favorite thing I'd ever done. I had Ruben on here, my boy Rob, just all kinds of really, really cool, interesting people. And then I didn't do any episodes until now. I tried a couple other episodes, one with Eddie and one with Brad Alcorn. And those turned out good, but the mics were jacked up, so I didn't get to post them. And then I was trying to think of people. I was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I was like, well, why do I want to do that? And ultimately what I wanted to do with this was I wanted to create a podcast that, like, captures, like, a little snippet of you. And I thought, because when my grandfather died, all my dad had was some voicemails from him. That's kind of all that he had. That was, like, his voice and his essence and I was like, how cool would it have been to have, like, a 2-hour podcast with my grandpa talking and telling his stories and his perspectives on things, even just that one, let alone, like, giving that to other people, like, in 100 years, your great-great-grandkids can Google you and be like, oh, look, hey, I can listen to Grandpa Nicky talk, and that's quite the thing. Most people die and that's it, like, there's not a video of them, there's no way to, like, experience them, you know what I mean? They kind of go with their stories to their loved ones, and then after a few generations, like, even who is the most, if you're not a Mozart or a Beethoven or a Da Vinci, like, you're not sticking around for any meaningful period of time. And even then, in the first century in China, like, who is the most famous, painter? We just know because that's Western.
Xing Qing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's all lost.
Oh, dude, yeah, that guy's work is sick.
Super influential.
All those dragons?
Yeah. Generic statement here. Yeah. He's that guy that had, like, the cherry blossoms, right?
Super textured waves.
Yeah.
Broad strokes.
That was the guy.
Oh, man.
Well, I also think you could be doing what you were meant to do the wrong way.
Yeah, like the intention.
Yeah.
If you're trying to just pump stuff out to, like, make content, and it's like, people will forgive you for not making stuff, but people don't forgive you, like, fans or whatever, don't forgive you for making stuff that's not quality. Like, if you're like, well, I'm just going to write 10 songs this week. Yeah. They're all going to be ass,
Hey, we're the...
Monkeys?
No, Funkies.
It's hard, man. It's anything that's worth quality. It comes up. Like writing. Like, sometimes you'll go through, like, a while where you don't write, and then you have experiential, awareness of something that may have happened before or prior, or you're going through currently, and you're like, oh, now I'm inspired again. Like, it has to come through you. You
got to live that life.
Yeah,
you got to live.
That's what sucks about garage bands when you're a kid, is everyone wants to, like, oh, we're going to start a band. It's like, what are we going to write songs about? It's 3 16-year-old white kids in a suburban garage. It's like, Stacy, why don't you like me? And it's fun to a point, but then it can only get so deep. You know what I mean? When you haven't lived anything. And that's why, you have to go through life, I think, to make beautiful art. You have to experience things. Or you look at, like, actors who are actually great actors. They've been enlisted men, or they've gone through, what's the guy that he was like an assassin, Count Dooku, right? That guy, he was like
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, that guy's actually like a real life guy. He's like, that's not how it sounds when people get stabbed through the second, third rib. Like, oh shit, my bad. Like Peter Jackson on the Lord of the Rings, like, oh, I didn't know that. So the more authenticity you can pour in, it comes from living, the journey, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best part of your journey, Nikki?
In life?
Yeah, so far. Like, what's your favorite part of your struggle so far through your life?
Favorite part of my struggle? Like a specific moment? Or
just looking back on Nikki before now. Like, when was the point that you were, like, most proud of yourself looking back? Or you felt like, man, like, that was a fun thing, or I accomplished something, or I conquered something, or what was your big adventure, Nikki?
I mean, like, broadly, getting just more comfortable with myself and in my own skin, I feel like has been cool to just kind of watch that happen. And so much of that does come from faith in God and feeling truly deeply loved despite being fully and completely known. I've been making some music with a friend lately, and it's pretty cool to, like, open that whole side of myself. I love painting and drawing, and I've been enjoying making more time to make that happen. I would say, like, concrete accomplishments or whatever, getting my blue belt was one of the cooler, like, internal feelings that I've experienced, just because I remember first starting to check out like what jiu-jitsu was, and then coming to the gym back at the old location and like watching a comp night or an advanced class and being like, man, it would be so cool just to be one of those guys who fits in and can do all that. And then getting my blue belt, I kind of expected it. I think I talked to my mom that night and I was like, yeah, there's a promotion. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get my blue belt tonight or whatever. But then just it really hit me like, oh, like I actually have become that, the thing that I wanted to, and it was fun the whole time and I enjoyed it. It wasn't like I had to be someone other than myself to enjoy the process, because on that note of like, you know, doing what God created you to do. I don't think God specifically created me to do jiu-jitsu exactly like that's supposed to be my whole life or anything. But yeah, just it never felt like I had to, you know, step outside of myself. Like, you know, I've probably know 20 good friends or acquaintances who are like, I can't wait to start. I'm going to start or whatever. Mm-hmm. And only 2 of them have ever, no, 3 have been to the gym, 2 have rolled, and 1 has signed up, my pastor.
That's very cool.
Whereas, yeah, it's awesome.
We got to get Matt down here.
Yeah. But it's funny because people will be like, oh, like you drive so far to train, or like it must be so like painful, or like that's so hardcore. Whereas to me, I'm like, it's just what I like doing. And I really can't, it's like the framing of people being like, oh, like you're sacrificing so much to do this thing. Whereas really, I'm like, well, what else would I be doing? Like, really, what else would I be doing? So yeah, getting like the official, the first nod at Blue Belt was really cool. And then just finding myself to where this is just a huge part of my life, has been very critical. And then, yeah, the people that it's surrounded me with, had some very cool experiences in nature, done some desert things and ocean swims and all that really bring out for me like a peak experience type feel. Yeah, I'm very excited for the spring. I've been getting into like some free diving type stuff, the snorkel mask, nice. Like kind of boulder and some cliffs, and then see how deep you can go and explore, and probably going to invest in some sort of underwater light. Then I've got some young guys I work with that are like very excited about it when the weather gets good.
Oh, I will take you to some beautiful spots on the
Smith River.
Yeah, I got 3 good spots for that kind of just deep diving.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Carl were talking about getting some of those like underwater breathing like canisters. It's just compressed air. You can stay under for like 10 minutes with them, and you refill them with a pump. But and then looking for like gold up and like doing some gold, like cool. Some tweezering and like some squirt bottles.
Sniping.
Yeah, some sniping. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah, we were talking about doing some of that. But me and my buddy Carl also talk about starting corgi breeding facilities and bee farms and protein supplement companies. And
signing up.
We haven't done anything yet. But we're really thinking about a couple things.
Signing up for Elon's Mars trip.
Oh, I've got a peak experience for you.
He pre-bought one of those Tesla trucks. He never got it, but he did put $100 down. So you read him exactly just from my description.
So I remember going through like very difficult chapters in life, and then talking to you about it and how much peace I was finding in the Lord. And then you and I started looking for a church together. Mm-hmm. But I specifically remember being like really groggy and like, you know, drinking as much coffee as I could. And we were at this one church that we were trying out, and had my eyes closed, and I'm having my own experience, and I'm enjoying the worship and the prayer and everything. And we went with your mom that day, and, you know, I'm praying and I'm worshiping, and it's great. And I opened my eyes and I saw you up front, like getting anointed basically. Yeah, that was like one of the greatest things of my whole life. So,
yeah, I remember Manny from that. I don't know if you ever met that guy from the House of Glory. Him and his wife have a really, really cool testimony. But he had invited me down to Empowered Life Church out in Talent, which is a great little church, and I love so much. But yeah, I was just totally overtaken with like the Holy Spirit that day, and I like went down in the front and like got on like my hands and knees and was just like basically just sobbing. I was just like, I'm so broken, like please, like, you know. And that's the thing, is that every time I've ever reached out to God and extended that finger, to make contact. Like, so I've been like, tell me something, show me something, like make me feel something, give me your presence, you know. Every single time it's been like, all right, yeah, here you go. Yeah, obviously, duh. Here for you, buddy. Got your back. And it's just like, it's so beautiful. And I just realized in that moment, like, man, so, you know, my mother was there with me. Nikki was there with me, and was kind of holding my hand at that time on my walk. And it was really, really, really powerful. Yeah, that was a great day.
I remember saying, Father, you can take me now. I did it.
Big Cal on the train. That's good though. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude,
it was.
Awesome.
Having you guys both there, I mean, for that day, that was like a very powerful day. And then having you there when I got baptized, those were both like, yeah, love the first episode back. I get to chop it up with the boys a little bit. It's good, man.
That's why I wanted to do it. I just wanted to hang out with you guys.
Yeah, that's the hard. You got to like give yourself an excuse like to hang out with the boys, but it's just setting aside the time just to do it is the funnest. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember just a couple times like Josh hit me up. He's like, "Hey, I came to town for something and it didn't happen. Do you want to go get like a kombucha? You know, what's the place with all the fire pits? The pizza place, Growler Guys." I'm like, yeah, and you just end up talking, you know, for 2 hours, and it doesn't have to be, you know, some big crazy affair, but just having time, especially now that I'm injured and I can't train, you know, like being able to come back in and chat with the boys is huge. Having this community for men where men can be, you know, and obviously we have female training partners and teammates and friends, but
unfortunately
having a place, dude, even like you said, even all of our the female training partners are so cool. Like everyone here is like a real killer, and just being able to have that, like, you know, because it is a form of fellowship, I think, here, even on the mats, you know.
Absolutely.
Like at the end of a comp night when everyone's just drenched in sweat, there's puddles, and you're all just like looking around at each other, and nobody quit, and you all suffered through the whole thing together, and you're just like, yeah, you just stick out like that, sir, ma'am,
warrior,
ma'am, sir, yeah, just that mutual earned respect, you know. And that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu too, is that you can't buy it. You know, like you pay dues, but you can't buy it. You could be Elon Musk and start training tomorrow, and you can't buy a black belt like Derek Moneyberg, maybe.
And you can't.
Don't sue me.
I said nothing.
Yeah.
I said nothing.
It's nice.
Shout out to Keith Krikorian. He's going under some.
He's the man.
Legal dispute right now for
Keith
roasting
is the man.
It's very nice that you can't fake it.
Yeah, man, you can't.
I felt the same way, like weightlifting, marksmanship, archery, etc. All of those things where you can just go do it with somebody, and then it's going to be real. It's so nice that there are those things, because you deal with, like, you know, like at work, like bureaucracy sometimes, or like there are so many situations in which people are faking it, and you kind of get a sense of that, and it's very frustrating. You're like, oh, is there no justice in the world? Yeah. But like, you roll with someone, and within 5 minutes, it's like, all right, this is where you're at with this and where I'm at with this, and this is just what it is, and it's very beautiful.
Yeah. It's nice to be participating, like, actively in a really immediately expressive, like, hierarchy of merit.
Yeah.
Like, it's very reaffirming to, like, a man brain, because you think there's certain things you do in life as a human that are very, like, archaic, and, like, in our, like, swimming. Like, if you swim, you know, or you're going on a run, you get that runner's high, or making love, and, like, there's things we've been doing for so long that it feeds us, you know, it fills in one of those holes in there. And fighting, if you want to call it, I had a jiu-jitsu fight. You had a match. That's cool, bro. But, you know,
I'm like, super fight.
Combat sports, though, you know, like any sort of like wrestling or whatever, like you have a hard match and you get done and you're like, like you feel good, you feel satiated, whether like win, lose, or draw, like you got something out of you. It's like painting a painting. You know, it's like even if you lose, like you still painted. Even if you didn't take first, you took second, you lost. You still painted, and you still got something, you like let it out, you know, and that's, I mean, so cathartic. It's freaking crazy.
I have a question.
Nuts. Yeah.
What's for both of you? What's the thing that you learned most about yourself through jiu-jitsu?
Go first.
I'll go first. All right. The thing that's a profound question. People always say, you know, like Boogie, I think they asked him that the other day when he retired, and somebody interviewed him, and he said like humility and family and discipline or something along those lines, kind of gave like a top three. For me specifically, I think I was so flawed when I came into martial arts, because I didn't start with jiu-jitsu. You know, like when I was 18, I started doing some boxing, did a couple boxing matches at casino, a couple MMA fights, and then I got really into competition jiu-jitsu. But you know, there's grappling in there the whole time. But just the dedication of martial arts, I think it really taught me that if you show up and try, you can be successful. Because most people just don't try. 90% of people don't try.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like it doesn't take that much to be like not great, you know, like world renowned or something, but it doesn't take that much to separate yourself from the herd as far as just having a skill set that you've achieved through merit and hard work and discipline that's not buyable. You can't purchase it. Like something that's so valuable to me that's instilled discipline and hard work and all those things, but it's just the learning that anything you apply yourself to, like if you really want to be an astrophysics, you know, major or whatever, and you can't afford college, if you go buy the textbooks online for $40 and you memorize every textbook and you just start making YouTube lectures and actually studying regardless, you know, like you can do anything. You literally, in this day and age in America at least, you can do anything. The information is so readily available, and just showing myself that like, damn, even the things I never thought, because I was such a pussy when I was a kid. Like, even the things I thought I would never be capable of, like, freaking, you know, going and fighting MMA or taking a boxing match or doing a jiu-jitsu competition or, you know, working where I work and doing that job. Just learning, like, if you just show up and try, like, you'll succeed over 90% of people immediately, just with the bare amount of effort. And that's been powerful to me. That's been transformative. It's like things that I told myself I could never do that, or I'll never be good enough, or I'll, you know, it's like, just try it. Just give yourself a chance to succeed. Give yourself the chance to succeed. Just by showing up every day. Walking through the door is 99% of anything.
Yeah.
What's the question specifically again?
What is the thing you learned about yourself through jiu-jitsu?
I'll just be long-winded here. Definitely, like, how much I do have the ability to stay calm and problem solve, and then seeing that translate over into my life has been really, really cool. But I would say the most like interesting thing I've learned is that, I don't know if I'll be able to put it into words perfectly, but like basically that I don't really like hurting people or winning that much, because football was a huge part of my life from basically birth to 18 years old. Came from a very prestigious lineage, all around different avenues of the family of football. And I had the mentality of like, I'm trying to essentially kill these guys, my opponents, and I love it. I love doing it with my homies. My brother was an excellent football player and like one of the more violent people I've ever seen participate in the sport. Like if they had a star player on the other team, his goal was, I'm going to break this dude, and then their whole team's going to crumble. And that's kind of like what I was taught to do, and I absolutely loved it. I enjoyed, banging my head into dudes' knees at full speed and whatever. But then getting into a sport that is completely individual, and you're not riding off of the camaraderie and intensity of 10 other guys on the field with you all the time versus 11 other guys. The competitions that I have done, the last one I did in the gi, which for whatever reason did that, I really didn't want to even defeat the guy that bad. I had him in a nasty Kimura, and I knew I'd just finish his shoulder forever. And just didn't have the instinct of this will feel awesome to ruin this guy. And just kind of felt bad when I won later on with something else. But yeah, it's just been interesting to find out that I don't really have that side to myself anymore unless it's super necessary. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I was a lot younger, it's super cool to just be dominant and crush people and champion mindset or all that. It's kind of been interesting to me that I really just enjoy pushing myself and using the other person to do that, but I don't really want to defeat them or make them feel that bad about themselves or cause them pain, really. I was surprised to learn that, but that's kind of what I've been noticing the most lately.
Yeah.
Your motivations have changed for participating in sport, kind of before it used to be embarrass and destroy, and now it's kind of a chess match. I really wanted to be glorified. That was the motivating.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a big part of it. It was I want to be in the paper. I want statistics about me, records in school, and want to be praised for all this.
Every guy wants to be him. Every girl wants to be with him.
Yeah. Whereas now I just really enjoy it because it's difficult and engaging, but I love training with my friends and that we're both having a great time.
Yeah.
And then when I roll with someone new, I mostly am just hoping that they have a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a super healthy mindset to go into it with, I think. Is just being like, I hope that this guy has fun rolling with me.
Yeah, I hope it's enjoyable.
Oh, I remember rolling with Boogie at HQ when I was like a blue belt, and I was like, dude, I did pretty good against Boogie. And then like just being totally ignorant, at the time. And not realizing like how nice he was just being, you know what I mean? Like had a darce that I got out of.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay, sick, dude. He's like, hey, good job, bro. Are you okay? You good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Are you fine? He's like, yeah, I am. I was like, just kind of what's Andrew always calls people a boner. I was just being a total boner.
Yeah.
But, that's the mentality that he had. Like, hey, I hope you have fun rolling with me. Like, I know in the back of my mind, even if I don't say it, I know I'm a legend. Like, I want you to have a good time with me.
Right.
And that's something that we could all learn. What about you, Big D? What's the overarching self-discovery from your martial arts, your jiu-jitsu journey?
It's a lot of, so I was introduced to martial arts late. So in the Marine Corps, there's the martial arts program, the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program, MCMAP. The Army has combatives, and the Gracies received large sums of money to develop the Army's combatives program.
I've heard that.
The Marine Corps went with Ken Shamrock.
Hell yeah.
Who did not win,
obviously,
the UFC, but did not cost as much. And so, that was my introduction, and it's a lot of, it was small, it was less grappling. There was grappling, but it wasn't like the Gracie jiu-jitsu stuff.
Yeah.
It was the Ken Shamrock jiu-jitsu stuff.
Which is, still better than Taekwondo or something.
Yeah. So like our drill instructors, when we were learning MCMAP, it was, okay, so you're about to learn Marine Corps martial arts. Mm-hmm. Do not think that this makes you a weapon. He's like, you're about to learn enough just to get your ass kicked in a bar.
Yeah.
And so it's enough to give you confidence that you can do something, but not enough to actually do something. And
they
so,
told you that outright?
Oh yeah,
nice.
Oh yeah.
Way to set up high morale, hand-to-hand trench warfare scenarios.
Well, I mean, dude, in the Marine Corps, it's you and 50 of your buddies against. It's going to the football analogy. It's like you and 50 of your buddies, all with guns, against him and 50 of his buddies, all with guns. So it's not like the likelihood of ending up in a hand-to-hand scenario in a modern day scenario is like not gonna happen. So I loved it, but then when I came to jiu-jitsu, when I started jiu-jitsu, it was like, oh, I don't know anything. Like I remember Raya, 90 pound 14, 15-year-old Raya. My first time rolling, Andrew's like, hey, go roll with Raya. And I'm looking at her like, bro, I'm a Marine. Yeah, I'm 260 pounds of mean. And she's 90. And first shot, I go to like do the most horrible double leg takedown. And she climbs up my body and puts me into a guillotine. Yep. And things start shrinking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is this? Like, so I tap, she does it to me 3 more times. And then Andrew comes over, he's like, hey, what do you think? We're like, what'd you think? And I was like, bro.
This shit's sick.
If a 90-pound girl can defeat a 260-pound man, in 9 months, I can go to a zoo, any zoo in America, and I can challenge a 600-pound gorilla to a death match. Yeah. Like, that was my mentality. And so I thought that going along the very same lines as you, like, oh, I'm going to learn how to be a better, more efficient killer. But then when people around you like, because everyone gets injured eventually, and people around you start getting injured, and you start like you watch the aftermath of that injury. You watch them have to come back or have to like do all of the physical therapy, and then you experience your first injury and you're like, man, this kind of sucks. Like I've changed my mentality of I want to be an efficient sub hunter to like, no, I just want to do this for as long as I can. And I think in the end, most people get to that place. So I learned very much along the same lines as you. Like, I'm not here to hurt people. Like, I'm here. I have fun with this. I have so much fun with this. This is like the most physical game that you could play. And there's a beauty in growing as a unit, like growing together. Like, you're watching people, you're like bringing people in, and then you're all like kind of on the same train headed.
Rising tide lifts all ships.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Like one of the most amazing things, like I always knew that I liked watching people succeed, but like to be in a promotion, to be at a promotion ceremony or promotion dinner, and to watch people that like get their belts. And like it's so motivating. It's just like, yes, like that's awesome. And then for my problem solving, like I've always been a cheerleader. I've always been in the room around greatness, but I've never been that guy doing the thing. Like I've been greatness adjacent, yeah. But I've never been the dude, right? So it's like to watch guys like Logan and Noah and Travis and Josh and you, I mean, now it'll be a little bit longer, but no big deal. But like, bro, when you guys would go to all the big like team duels and you would go to the ADCC tournaments and the Worlds tournaments, it's like, bro, like I was so pumped. Like even the month leading up to those events where it's like, I saw myself as, I understood, and as a father, I'm a father of 4. So like, it's easy for me to shift into this support role where it's like, no, like my dreams don't matter. Like I'm here to do what I can so that you can be as prepared as you can be to accomplish your goals. And so like shifting into that role is like something that's just, I think a lot of the guys in our gym have that level of humility that is just beautiful. That's like, hey, you know, like no, I'm here so that you can be ready. And I just love that. And then as far as my own understanding of myself, it's how I'm methodical and how much time I need to work through a problem. Like if I'm going against Logan or Noah or Coach or anyone else that moves really fast, it's like, it's very overwhelming for me to try to solve the problem. But as soon as I can get a hold of them long enough to think, now I can start applying my problem solving. And so I think learning that about myself has really helped because it translates to real life. So now I just finished a job for a client where he had a picture frame that he wanted tinted a different color so that it would match the wood of his house. It was gold, but he didn't want it gold. He wanted it like a wood. And so I took 3 weeks of just mentally going through that problem. I'm methodical, so I would come up with one solution and then I'd run it through my head and then, oh no, I don't think that's gonna, whatever. Like it wouldn't work this reason for that reason, whatever. I worked through it for 3 weeks. When I finally came up with the solution, it was literally 20 minutes at his house to do the job. And it was done. And he loved it and I liked it and it was great. So like learning that about myself is like, I need the time to think through those problems. Is something
3
that
times cut once.
That's something I never learned anywhere else. I never learned that about myself. Like I would, in the Marine Corps, it's go, go, go. It's It's your here. If you're getting assaulted, counter assault. That's your
act. Produce.
As soon as yeah, you have to attack. You have to counterattack. You have to be on the move constantly. It's like, so I adopted that, not understanding how against who I am that mentality is. And so, yeah, jiu-jitsu taught me that about myself. And it's been super beneficial. I'm much more patient. I'm much more like when my wife has something that we need to work through, I have to let her know, like, and she knows now, like, hey, how close are you to a solution on that issue we talked about? And it's like, oh, I'm getting there. Like it's almost there. But like it makes our relationship better because now she understands how my mind operates, and she's much more patient with. If I go radio silent on a solution, it's not because I forgot or I'm not
working on it.
Yeah, she understands that, and I think it's just been such a beneficial thing, and that's something that I went 40 years on this earth not learning that about myself.
Yeah, and
to discover it in here, of all places, where it's like someone's trying to kill you, and someone's simulating murder, right? And you're trying to prevent the murder. It's something that I never thought I would ever. It's a character trait that I never thought I would fully understand about myself.
Yeah.
And it's a gift. It's a huge gift.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I'm a huge, like, I just want to do this as long as possible.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm not super into like competition. And I'm not really driven by victory. I'm not like victory driven. I don't keep track of like who I beat or any of that stuff. There's like the things that stick out to me is the escapes.
Yeah.
Like
being in deep water and getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I used to be stuck in this position. I used to be stuck there. But now this little like detail that helps me to escape out of that position. Like that's what those are my like little feathers in my cap. It's like, oh, no one, like side control. There's very few people that can hold me in side control. And I think that's a benefit.
Nice.
Like, yeah, it's cool. I don't get very many submissions. I don't, but like that's not, I don't know. It's not what I focus on or really even like care about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, taught me a lot about myself, how my brain operates.
I think that the more we can self-identify things that we learn from instances like that in jiu-jitsu and be aware of it, it allows us, like you said with your wife, to kind of communicate who you are and how you are to her, so she has an expectation.
Yeah.
Because even as we grow together as couples, you have to know yourself well enough to be able to give someone an expectation of your behavior, because a lot of people have so much trauma that they interpret things really negatively. Definitely me. It's like, you haven't talked to me in 10 minutes. Like, you hate me? Are you leaving me? Like, what's going on? It's like being able to know that your partner zones out when they watch a TV show or a movie, and that's stuff that's invaluable. Or being able to tell your partner, like, hey, I'm not doing what you asked me to do.
Yeah.
I'm doing 90% of it up here, and then in an hour it'll take me 10 minutes. Like, just let me think through it in my head. But it just bears so much fruit in all other aspects of your life, the things that you learn from really, really difficult pursuits, like jiu-jitsu or football or enlistment. And it grows beautiful relationships like the ones that we have, brotherhood and family. Like, for a lot of people, I know that this is what they have. This is their family. And I think that's beautiful too, that Markel and Andrew have been able to create a place where people can go when they don't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. Like, we used to have a lot more community things, I think, in the United States in previous eras, where it was like everybody went to the 4th of July parade, or everybody went down to the swimming hole, or everybody, and you could interact with people and you saw people and you had a sense of community. And now there's even basic communities are so large that it's like there's not really an overarching place to gather like that. So if you can find places like church or CrossFit or jiu-jitsu or whatever your thing is, the gun club, whatever you want to go do. I think it's like one of the most important things just for, especially, like I said, especially men, to be able to go and just talk to each other earnestly and openly. And having it be here, I think is really cool too, because it can be like, oh, maybe me and you have a disagreement, and it's not like we're like fighting on the mats, but it's like, you know, if we're having like a discussion, it's nice to be able to like, all right, yeah, like, yo, you think the Raiders are the best? Well, I'm a Birds fan, you know, and then you guys go and you roll, and they're like, even if you beat them and their team beat your team twice this season, you're like, yeah, fuck the Raiders, you know, you can kind of get that little bit of angst out of you, or it's a good thing to be able to kind of roughhouse with the boys. It's
absolutely good.
Good physical, mental, emotional, spiritual input. But I love you guys, man. Thank you guys for coming on today, and yeah, I'm excited to pump out a couple more of these and have.
I got a question before we're.
No, we're not dead fast to any sort of times.
What is like the best song for you guys right now?
Oh, the favorite song right now.
Yeah, what are you running?
Oh, go ahead, Nikki. I know you got one lined up. If you were posing it, you always send me really good stuff. You and Kurt Strickland always send me really good music.
There's one that has been for years, but I listened to it on the way over. It's Whiskey Myers. I want to say it's Broken Window Serenade, Whiskey Myers.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Broken Window Serenade. What's the, give us a little synopsis of that. It's a story? Classic country western story?
Yeah. It's a guy who's in love with this girl, and eventually she becomes a stripper.
Oh, right.
And he can't save her. And eventually she ODs
She don't want to
on.
be saved.
It's about him. He's basically singing to her gravestone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Damn.
It's just powerful, though.
Yeah.
It's good music.
That is a powerful story. That's a good one.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's sad.
Mine's Sirens by the Grey Havens.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What's the...
So it starts, he's a sailor, and he hears these sirens in the water, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna get my sword and go take care of this. But then he takes a moment, and he's like, no, I'll just listen to it for a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. And the allegory is how we identify our sin, we see our sin, but we negotiate with ourselves to, no, I'll just do it this one last time. I'll just look at the porn this one last time, and then it'll be done. I'll never go back. Yeah. And then before you know it, you're
can have another one.
You're hooked in.
Oh yeah.
You're like, you're blinded, and you're trapped in that. Yeah. And so it's a song where he's, in the end, he's pleading. He's like pleading to himself to hold on. Like, he's like, hold on my heart.
Like you can do it. Like,
yeah.
Don't give in. Don't give
up. And he's like, it's one of the lines is, hold on my heart. You've known greater joy than this. Mm. So it's like remembering, like you have to go back and remember, like God has given you greater joy and love and peace than this fleeting moment of indulgence can offer. Yeah. And yeah, that one has been sticking with me hardcore. Shout out to Thomas Prefontaine.
Oh, Thomas.
He puts you on music?
For introducing me.
Opening any link that Thomas sends you is dicey enough, so.
Yeah, he probably knows all of my passwords now, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he knows those days I've been struggling.
I guess I always thought Thomas was like a Taking Back Sunday kind of emo Christian rock kind of guy, you know?
I can't even imagine him like actually bopping to and getting into music.
Yeah, he probably just sits there.
It's always like rap in here, and he's like, I don't know about this, you know?
This is a
this is how humans react to tunes, right?
This is an old-timey shindig.
What about you, Callan? What's your jam right now?
Oh, I was trying to think. I got nerd because I'm such a music guy.
Yeah.
But been listening to a lot of Ye lately.
Yeah.
So that's been God is the song that he has out. That's a really good one. It's like very it's like a lot of Christian, like choir vibes kind of.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I've been getting into
Is it the Jesus
like
is King album? The big blue disc?
I believe so, yeah. And I like it. I like a lot of I've been listening to a lot more Christian music lately.
Yeah.
Like Forrest Frank is like, I don't know. I go into, and this is me. This is my opinion, controversial, unpopular. When I go into church, and a lot of times they're singing, like, a lot of church music is whack to me.
Yeah.
Like, their message is beautiful and wonderful and great, but the style of music is not my style of music that I enjoy. It's very, like, much, I think, geared towards the older people. Yeah. And I think that there are a lot of great artists out there making really great Christian music for younger people. And I think the idea of going to a church where it's like, you come in and instead of, like, really, like, kind of morose and slower and sad songs, like, you go in and it's got, like, some Forrest Frank on, you come in and it's like, your way's better, Jesus. Yeah, and coming in with, like, some energy. Like, I like that about when I've gone to some churches in the South. Yeah. That, like, big gospel feels like everyone, there's a big choir and everyone's singing and clapping and, like, the energy is high. Like the Blues Brothers scene when they're in there and they got, in the hot tub, and he's in there and he's doing the whole thing, and I love that so much. But I don't know. Nothing specific is coming to mind. Oh, you know what? And this is the gayest song I can say, but "Necklace Swing" by Gabriella Rose. She sings a song called "Double Wide" that's really good. Okay. And she has a song called "Necklace Swing" that's really good, and I've been listening to that a lot. And I don't know why, because it's a song about, like, that man, he put me out of his life, and I don't need him back. And it's just very powerful. Like, I don't know. I just fucking like it, dude. And her other ones, I actually found it from a guy, I'm trying to remember his name, but he's trying to do too much of a Johnny Cash thing. But the song is, I like good old-fashioned country music, something with a beat. I like a lean, mean woman with high heels on her feet. But the original song is by this gal, and she says, a lean, mean man with, I think, like, danners on his feet or something, like, talking about his boots. But it's kind of like a fun song. I've been having a hard time since, like, my real deep dive culture wall, Tyler Childers, like, I got so excited a couple years ago when I found those guys, the Red Clay Strays. Yeah. And I've been listening to a lot of them lately, but trying to kind of latch onto somebody new lately or find, like, a new artist that's jumped out at me. I haven't found, like, a real new artist that I love in, like, the last year. Yeah. So if you guys got something for me, shoot it on over. You guys got anybody I might not have heard of, just new stuff all the time. I get bored. I'll listen to a song 30 times in 3 days and be like, I never want to hear this again. Dang. I'll just get, like, super obsessed with it and throw it away. Going hard. Yeah. I get that.
My country synth album is forthcoming.
Is that what I was going to ask you? Because I've known you to be a doodler, and you said something about making music earlier, but I've never known you to be a big, you don't play guitar or anything. Right?
No, I have very little instrumental skill. My buddy's, like, his career used to be producing and everything. Okay. His studio is not set up right now, so we've just been tinkering. Mm-hmm. And you never know what's going to come out in a creative process. But basically, it's like...
Is it country stuff?
Well, no, not really. I mean, the foundation of what we're doing is, like, I guess you could call it experimental music. But the idea is you just make sounds that sound good to you, which is kind of what music is. And then he's so good at recording one tiny little cool thing and then putting it together where before you know it, you have 3 minutes that actually sounds good, even though I can't really play the guitar or the bass that he gives me or the drums. And then we write a little bit of lyrics and I sing it sometimes and he sings it sometimes and he can put our voices together. And that's the funnest. But we haven't had a studio since, like, August. Okay. So we'll see how it all comes along.
Dude, that's awesome.
But it's just fun.
It's fun.
I'm excited to see it.
It's fun to do something easy on the body and, like, creative and expressive. And
I've jammed with David more times, and he's like, we've jammed like 3 times. I've jammed with him more in the last 2 years than I have anybody.
Yeah, so that's fun.
We'll have to get together and do some music.
I'm hoping my bass skills kind of start coming along.
Yeah, but I was a bass player for a bunch of bands, bass player. No one wants to be the bass player. I'll get you into some bands.
I do, bro. Set me up and I'll just don't.
Yeah, I got an amp and a bass you can borrow, brother. Right on. Let you take it. But all right, I love you guys. Let's call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. I'll cut the edit right there. That was good. I don't know. I hear people coming in. I know they're putting together the boxing room and stuff.
And the microphones didn't murder us.